Hey y'all, it's almost 10 a.m. Eastern, and we have a live stream scheduled today. It's a real strategic training, so it's not sort of off the cuff. I have some points that I need to make and some agenda items, and we just want to get through this in a way that gives tremendous value to the people who are coming on and wanting to learn from this. So the title of this is 3 steps to take immediately when something that you've created isn't selling like it should. Okay, so here's the thing. It doesn't really matter what you sell. If you want to get value out of this video, then that is absolutely an option for you. Right below the advertisement for this video in the Women Who Wow Facebook group is some little questions or notes if you wanted to follow along. But also, if there's a share option for the live stream, I'm not really sure how that works, but if there's a share option, please share it if someone could benefit from this that you know. It really doesn't matter what you sell or what you offer. If there's something that you have that should be selling like hotcakes, something that should be selling a lot better than it is, then you'll get tangible strategy and maybe even a kick in the pants from this call. So I want to first kind of go into the problem. The problem with selling, when you have something that you kind of just, it's sort of a thorn in your side, something that maybe it's something that you're trying to sell right now. It might be something that you've tried to sell before, and you just kind of were in love with the offer. Hey guys, thanks for coming in. But if there's something that, whether it's right now or you've created it before and it didn't sell, I want to kind of go over a problem that is kind of the underlying problem when things that are really great aren't selling as they should. So, and what I want you to do is I want you to try to find yourself in this problem. So the problem is we do a lot of upfront work. Hey Randy, as people join the Facebook group, if you have invites to join, if you could approve them, Randy, thank you. The problem is, when we're trying to sell something, we are doing a lot of upfront work, right? That's what we all do. We write the product or create the product. We write the sales page. We agonize over price, whether or not to include a guarantee. We send out an email to our list. We maybe even send out like 3 emails to our list, and we might even have an actual sales series, and we post on social media. And we let people know what we're selling, and then we sort of wait. And that's the problem. And it reminds me of this MLM party that I hosted, and it was so incredibly bad. I kid you not, I didn't host another one for about 7 years or so. It was seriously a horrifically awkward experience in my own home, right? And so what happened in this MLM event, everybody came and we sat through a flipboard sales presentation. We did half of our faces under strict instructions. We were admonished for laughing or for talking while we were experiencing the product. And then after that, the rep excused herself to a corner of the my great room, and sat there like, straight spine. And she said she was excusing herself to go and take orders. And the room went super quiet. It literally like gives me chills to remember it because it was so awkward. But when you have something that isn't selling well or isn't flying off the shelves the way it should, oftentimes is because you've done the upfront work and then you have sort of retreated into your little order taking corner. Now, maybe not literally, right? This was a very literal, very, very awkward thing. But a lot of the times, the problem is we put our best stuff out there and we expectantly wait for the cha-ching. You're here because for all of this, the cha-ching doesn't always happen the way we anticipate that it should. To get the most out of this call, I really want you to think of only one thing, one offer, one event, one proposal, one whatever that isn't selling as well as it should, right? To get into the meat of this and apply it in an actionable way, I need you just to focus on one. There could be a few. in your business that maybe, you know, you could pick, but I want you to pick the one that you actually get pissed off about when people are not buying it, right? It's such an insane value. It's such a gift, and people passing up on the offer actually makes you mad. It actually irritates you. I want to start there. So step one is to re-fall in love with the offer. I call this passionate packaging. You want to kind of dust it off and get excited about it again. Certainly, I want you to take an objective look at the offer. Could something change? Should anything change? Maybe not, but this could be the offer that, frankly, you judge people for not saying yes to. You can't not freaking imagine them not buying it. I mean, I'll never judge you based on who you love, which bathroom you use, how you worship, who you voted for president, the color of your skin, or what car you drive. But we're business owners, right? Make no mistake. When we have an offer that's amazing, we'll totally judge you for walking away from it, right? And that's the kind of offer that I want you to dust off. Or maybe you're taking a previous offer that didn't sell well, or maybe you have a right now offer and you want to be able to look at it objectively and make sure that it is so, it arises a passion in you. You are loving it. Yeah, well, Kathy, I did put on lipstick and mascara. So, but yeah, so you wanna make sure you have that passionate packaging, something that you are attached to in a way that is really healthy because it's some of your best stuff, right? So this kind of passion is what you want around what you are offering. You want to be sure that you are so in love with your offer that you feel, frankly, it would be immoral not to invite people to take advantage of it. Absolutely immoral. And once you have that, that's step one, right? So look at the offer, fall in love with it again, tweak it if you need to, right? You don't want to be afraid, by the way, to adjust your offer. You have something in your mind that you want to sell the heck out of. And I don't want you to be afraid to tweak it, to adjust your offer to make sure that it's something that you are so passionate about. Even if that means, frankly, raising the price of the offer, right? Even if it means raising the price of the offer to make it something that you just can't imagine people walking away from. Really quick question from Holly Holiday. Will this work for something you haven't started selling yet? Absolutely. In fact, a couple people wrote in and said, hey, I want to kind of use this system we're talking about in order to launch something in the future. So absolutely. So the first step is passionate packaging. Make sure that you're adding things to it that you get excited about, that you would judge people if they walked away from, right? It's so perfect. And the truth is, we'd love it if all of our offers are like this, but we do have certain things that we are, just passionately excited about, and they're kind of above and beyond the rest. So that's okay. But I want you to, as you go through this, whether it's something you have now, you're going to create, or it's something you're dusting off from the past. And sometimes our best work, it was created in the past when we didn't know how to sell well yet, right? We were kind of newbies in business. And anyway, so we'll get to that. But that's step one, passionate packaging. Step two is to go all in. My first $100,000 event was an example of me going all in, right? I did a teaser. I did a teleseminar, which I spent about a week writing. It was a 20-minute teleseminar. The call to action in the teleseminar was a phone call with me. The phone call was all about finding out more about the goals of the person I was speaking with. I followed up with an email invite, which is essentially a sales page, but it was via email. I wasn't lazy about the email invite. I personalized it. And then I did have a very simple email series so to fill the last 3 spots. But I went all in. I did nothing but this launch for about 3 weeks, right? I didn't balance my schedule. Essentially, I put everything on hold. Now, my profit after expenses, and with events, I really feel called to shine light on profit versus no profit, because there's a lot of people selling how to host your own events, and the way they're doing it, the way they're telling you to do it, frankly, is a recipe for going in the hole, right? Going in the hole financially. But my profit after expenses for is, you know, $100,000. My profit was just under $80,000. So it made sense for me to go all in. It was 3 weeks of going all in, prepping, you know, selling, etc. 3 days of planning the actual event, like food, location, events, things like, you know, activities, etc. And then the 3-day event. So it was 3 weeks plus 6 days, $80,000, just under $80,000. And so it was important enough. It was a big enough payday for me to go all in. I want you to figure out what numbers it would take. Numbers in terms of how much you're selling it for versus how many people you want to sell it to. I want you to figure out the numbers it would take for it to make sense for you to go all in. And then I want you to make that your sales goal, right? X number of things at X number of dollars. Decide what going all in will look like for you. And I want to give you some tangible strategies, action items, etc. This is just a few ideas, because sometimes we feel like we've already done it all, right? We feel like we've already done it all. It still didn't work. And so I just want to give you a few ideas of what going all in could look like. I just outlined what I did for that $100,000 event, and you can rewind the video in the replay and look at that. But you don't just want to pitch a sales page or send out even email invites, right? Going all in means really going all in, really pulling out all the stops. So here's some ideas. Break down what they're going to get or learn or whatever, etc. The benefits of what you're selling. Break that down and do a live training on each specific benefit, right? Or maybe a blog post on each aspect of what you're going to be offering, each benefit of your offer. You know, a lot of times we start to do, you know, teleseminars or what have you, but we're really not digging in and separating and pulling out all the parts of our offer. And that's something that moves the needle in sales, right? You're going to see me do this for my first ever Enterprising Experts Gamma version event. It's for experts who are already published in their book. Excuse me. I have to push this down or else I can't see anymore. Or are already making between $8,000 and $10,000 a month with their coaching or their speaking. It's a 3-day event. It's going to be incredible, up level, next level leverage. It's all about leverage in groups and increasing your reach and your impact. It'll be about breaking small and going big in a way that is fully in alignment with who you are and what your preferred lifestyle is. I'm super excited about it. And there will only be 12 spots available in the event. So it's not until March of 2017. So you won't see me do this right now. But as I start to invite people and fill that very, very small event, I'm super excited about it now. And you'll see me starting to break apart little parts of that event and blog about it and do live streams about it and start to really you know, pull it apart so people can look at it and say, hey, do I want more of that? Do I want to do more of that? I say all this because I'm planning the introduction to this event right now. You'll see it in our blog, in our member forum, upcoming live streams, etc. But no matter what you are selling, I'm sorry, I keep looking at the camera of my computer is up here, and then the camera of my phone is there. So I keep going back and forth between the cameras. But no matter what you're selling, you can and should do the same. Look at the benefits of what you offer, break it apart, and then do specific trainings or blog posts about that, right? It'll take you some time, but what you're doing really is lovingly uncovering, lovingly unwrapping the offer so that people can see it in all of its glory and not like just one big compressed little sales page. So, you definitely do want to write the sales page, right? Of course, right? We don't want to ignore the basics, but pull out the most profound parts of your offer, make each of them into a blog or a post or a training or, you know, whatever. I want you to go all in. Okay, so give me an example of breaking apart the pieces. Okay, so let me see. So if you are a coach and you have a program regarding say eating disorders or healthy relationships with food or something like that, and it's a group program, or it's even a private, you know, intensive retreat, right? Just you and that client. Then what you know that you'll cover maybe is, I don't know this for sure because I don't know your space in terms of, obviously you're the expert, but, maybe you're going to cover, previous history with food, or you're going to cover, something, you have certain tent poles, certain cornerstones of what you cover in your offer, what points you'll touch on, what benefits they'll get. And so you pull each of those out and you dive in a little deeper in, using a blog post or a live stream or something like that. Lisa, can you tell me if that answers your question? So essentially, all the things that you put in your sales letter, like you'll get this and we'll learn this and we'll cover this and you'll no longer, stress about this. If you have all of that, then you take each of those little benefits out. Can you guys I guess if you can give me a thumbs up or something to let me know, did I cover that well? Because that's a pretty critical piece, and most people do not do that, right? Okay, good. So what happens is, we do the sales page and we break out those benefits there, but we don't actually dig in and shine light on each of the different pieces of our offer. But here's the thing, the shining the light on each different offer is what made us fall in love with it to begin with, right? It's what makes us judge people when they say no, or they walk away, or they disappear. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? Did you not hear what I said? Did you not see the benefit, right? And so this is something that no matter what you're selling, if it's new for you, after you write the sales page, pull it out and create a content sales strategy that allows you to pull it apart and show people under the hood all the benefits that they're going to get. Really dive in a way, one by one, that you just can't do in a sales page. Okay, so the first step, passionate packaging, right? Make sure it is something that you are absolutely in love with. Step 2, go all in, right? And remember, you want to make sure that the numbers make sense for you to go all in, right? If they don't, then you won't go all in. It'd be stupid to. So you want to make sure that the numbers, how many you're going to sell, at what price point, makes sense for you to go all in. You want to define what going all in looks like, what exactly you're going to do in order to make sure that the right people know that this offer and can see this offer in all its glory. And step 3 is, you've gone all in, and now you want to be sure that you are engaging in active selling. This is where so many business owners, and in fact, I hate to say it, but so many women business owners fall so incredibly short of meeting their numbers, right? We put it out there, okay? We put it out there. Thank you, Melanie. I appreciate you. I do think, Melanie, we need to create that badge, that BS badge, and maybe there's some way we can put it on different websites. But anyway, so the thing is, we start to put our offer out there, but we do it in this really timid way. We say things like, hey, maybe we message someone on Facebook, and I've been guilty of this, but hey, if this feels right for you, or if you know someone who should do this, then, let me know, or take a look, etc. And that's timid. We do things, we put it out there, we push it out there on our Facebook account or on Twitter, and we hope the right people see it. And we're really just timid about the offer. It's like, well, the right people will see it, or hopefully, or maybe I've put it out in my email list. And I want to go over what counts as active selling, right? And this is really just something that I don't even know how to define it any other way, but active selling is asking for the sale, right? Not asking someone to take a look, not asking someone to, hey, let me know what you think, right? Hey, I wanted to show you this was coming up. Let me know what you think. It's not that. That's not active selling, right? I'm not saying don't do it. Just don't count it as active selling. Emailing and telling someone why they would be perfect for this event or program or offer, why they can't miss out, what makes them perfect for this offer, why they should consider it specifically. That's active selling, right? That's active selling. It's a prescribed selling. If you are in active selling mode, and you should be, because you've agreed that you're going to go all in, If you're in active selling mode, you should be incredibly focused. In step 2, I talked about my first $100,000 event, and I went in all in 3 weeks to sell it, fill it, and call it done. I didn't balance. Frankly, I didn't even balance my home life that time, but it was worth it because I was able to meet my goal in a condensed period of time, and I didn't let it drag on. So if you're in active selling mode, whether you're filling a membership or stacking your calendar for 2017 with private clients or whatever you're doing, you should be incredibly focused. And here's what that looks like, right? If you kind of want, if you're the kind of person that wants like a checkoff list or a measuring stick, how about 10 active sales activities every single day? Here's some examples. Email invites, not just, hey, take a look at this, but I think you should be here. Take a look and let me know, right? I am holding a spot for you. I would love to work with you. Consider this offer and let me know if you're in or out, right? Invites. Blogs that break apart the benefits and lead to a sales page or a call to action, right? Not just a blog and, maybe, hey, putting a little image, hey, click here if you're interested or whatever, but a real call to action, right? If you're enjoying this blog, you need to check out XYZ. So blogs that lead to a sales page or call to action. And here's the thing, posting it is one active sales activity for the day. Sharing it is another. Not sharing it via, all the different, you don't get an extra activity for every different social media that you share it on, right? So it's like, that's one, writing it and then sharing it, that's 2 activities. And then invites. If you're doing invites well, then each different person you're inviting counts as a sales activity because you're prescribing it for them. Here's why it's so good. You can't miss out. Live streams are another example that call out a benefit to your offer. Okay, so I want to address that, Lisa. Don't let me forget. So if you're not a business coach, I found this can be perceived as too high a pressure and I've lost people. Okay, so I do want to address that. Live streams that call out a benefit of your offer and include a call to action, like my phone call strategy that I did to fill that $100,000 event, right? It was the call to action wasn't go to some web page that's open to everyone. The call to action was, schedule a phone call with me. Let's talk one-on-one about whether or not this is okay for you, whether or not this is a good fit for you. So Lisa, one of the things that I get a lot, and it's not just from you, this is something that comes in and it will come in. If you didn't ask it, it would come in 18 million different ways, right? And the question is, if you're not in business, does this come across as too pushy, right? Does it come across as too pushy? And my thought is only if you're being pushy, right? The truth is we can lovingly offer what we need. We can have empathy as we create a reason why this is perfect for the person that we're talking to, right? Many times, I know you, Lisa, your offers to work with someone are out of empathy. It's because you see a different future for them or a different reality for them than they currently have. And so it doesn't have to be pushy. If you're feeling like you're pushy, then, maybe you are being pushy and maybe you need to scale back, not the activity, but the tone, right? The tone of the activity. It should be empathetic. It should be casting a vision of a preferred reality, different than what they're seeing. It should be something that you're offering because you are so sold on the benefit. Hopefully it's something that you would feel frankly immoral not asking them to do. You and I both know, all of us know, that sometimes the biggest help that we can give our clients is to get them out of their own way, right? And I've needed it. And I remember Steve Chandler used to say, part of your work is getting people to the fee, right? It's getting them out of their own way, removing the excuse of, oh, I can't afford that, etc. Part of your work begins right then. And when I worked with Steve Chandler the first time, oh my God, he got me to the fee, and he removed, and I'll just be very candid with you. He had a $9,000 offer, $9,000, honestly, to say that it was the equivalent of like $90,000 today was an understatement, frankly, right? Because I think $90,000, I can get my hands on $9,000, but $9,000 when he offered me a spot in this group event was such an outlandish amount of money. And I had zero idea of how I would cobble that amount of money together. My bills were behind, right? It was very like, I was doing well in business, but it was just barely meeting my financial needs. And I was spinning, right? And so he got me to the fee, and he did it in such an empowered way. And what he did, he said, do you want to be here? And I said, yeah, like I totally want to be there. And I know that it will help me. And he said, great, I'll save you a seat. You can pay when you get there. And in full disclosure, my first check to him bounced. Totally humiliated, but I had just gotten the amount of money in, and it just hadn't hit the bank. So anyway, but Lisa, does that answer your question? Right? If we don't ever want to feel pushy. When we feel pushy, we need to sometimes check our motives, etc. Sometimes though, people will go away, right? But who knows? I think people make excuses when they don't want to do business with us, right? I was just talking with someone about this girl who called off an engagement. She had this weird reason, right? It was a very strange reason to call off an engagement. And the truth is, as women, we kind of know like it was a bullcrap excuse. And yes. So I think it's like, sometimes they'll say, oh, well, I would have done it if, or we think they would have done it if we weren't too pushy. And the truth is, we're not so much being pushy. We're offering it to them. And because we're professionals and because we're adults, we sort of expect an answer, right? We sort of expect an answer, yes or no, and no is okay. And some people are going to be no's. But I think when we feel pushy, it's when the truth is they're acting like children. They've taken our time. We've spoken with them. We've gotten excited about what is possible for them. And then they just, they're like, oh yeah, let me think about it. And then they disappear. That's not the adult thing to do, right? Do we need a yes or a no? Not really, but it's a professional thing to do. It's an adult thing to do. And so I think it feels pushy. It's often because people really aren't ready and they don't want to look at their stuff. Absolutely. And so if we are looking at it as a way of serving them, if we are empathetic in our approach, if we are really so sold on the vision of their preferred future, preferred reality versus what they are currently experiencing, it's really not our business how they perceive it. It's really not our business how they perceive it. So here's some more ideas. So, live streams, calling out the benefits, having a call to action, getting on the phone with people to discuss the offer, right? Not so much, whether or not we're a good fit, but the offer itself, getting on the phone with people. Anything that you're doing timidly, frankly, doesn't count as active selling. Anything you're doing that glosses over the ask doesn't count as active selling. Anything that is akin to you pushing out content and then sitting back like that god-awful home party situation doesn't count, right? It's about digging in. It's about engaging in your community. It is about reaching across the aisle and inviting people to do the work that will get them the result that they want to get. Remember, you have an offer that we agreed in step 1 would be immoral for you not to offer to your target market. It's an offer that, frankly, it would be selfish of you to sit on, right? And allow people to find it if they do, right? Or come, well, I talked about it in these blog posts, and, any fool could search it on my website and find it. No, that's not their job. We need to bring it to them, right? So if it's timid, if it looks like you're just pushing something out there and waiting to see who comes along, doesn't count. Totally just doesn't count, because it would be selfish of you to not offer, to not allow people to get out of their own way. And sometimes, our offer does say, push people away in terms of, I'm not the right person. That's okay, right? Nature abhors a vacuum. When people walk away and say, you know what, this is not my person. Frankly, I have somebody who was a long-standing Women Who Wow member, like back in the early days, right? Back when we met every month. And the truth is, what she found is that I wasn't a fit for her. She didn't appreciate my passion for commerce. She thought I was a little too focused on sales, and she wanted a more a more soulful approach. And, you know, we're still friends. Like, we still hang out, we still talk, and not hang out, but we still talk. And I support her business and she supports mine, but it just wasn't the right fit. So sometimes, you know, making the offer, it starts to clear people, gets people off of your fence. And I tell you, all of us have people in our business, in our community, the people that we're rubbing elbows with virtually or in person that are sitting on the fence, right? And my mom has a saying for that. I can't really think of it, but she'd say something like, you know, man, you know, he's riding that fence so hard he's got splinters or something like that. But they're on the fence and they're doing themselves no favor being on the fence, right? They're doing us themselves no favor by sitting on the fence, on the fringe of what we're asking, getting a little teeny portion of what we're giving because they're on the fence. The truth is, it's pretty courageous and bold of us to say it's okay to get off the fence on the other side, right? Because we want those people to go towards someone that they are going to dive deep with. I remember when my girls were in gymnastics. And this is when I really fell out of love with the word balance. Like back then it was all the rage, like work-life balance, all this stuff. And I saw my girls on the balance beam, right? And they would dip, right? They'd walk on it and here's the balance beam and they dip one foot, the other foot, just dipping their toe down. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, if that's balance, I want none of it. Like I want to be able to dive deep and swim around and live life. And your people do too, right? And so if they're on the fence, getting them to a no frees them up to find somebody else to help them with that problem if they really want to solve it, right? Either way, it gets them off your fence where they're getting splinters and it makes room for people who are just coming in. Okay. We need to make friends with selling. As we talk about getting into active selling mode, active selling, making the ask, we need to just make friends with it. You know, if I found you in the desert, you were dying of thirst and I had water, I would run to you. I would not ask you if you wanted water. I'd pour it down your throat if you were too weak to pick it up. I wouldn't worry if you thought I was pushy. I wouldn't worry if you thought I was too fat or too old or too young. I would just give you what you needed, right? And I don't want to be melodramatic. I know that's a melodramatic analogy, but we don't want to worry about selling, about making the offer. Holly has a great idea. She says, you know, we really need to focus on the people who are ready to buy. And there's nothing wrong with saying, and for my Enterprising Experts Gamma version, you'll see me say that. Listen, you know, there's calling out people if you're ready, right? I'm only talking to people who are ready. I'm only talking to people who are done playing small. I'm only talking to people who have had sort of the same goals that that have kind of missed them. It's not that they're not successful. They are, but their goals are kind of, they're falling short of their goals. And I'm pushing that out there. And I'm saying, listen, if this isn't you, no big deal. Like ignore the rest. But if it is, that's who I'm talking to. And I like Holly's analogy of having a waiting room for the fence sitters. And I think that I probably need to do a training on that because we do want to create a waiting room. In my first Enterprising Experts or 6 and 6 program, you know, I talk about a basin, right? You want to have a basin of people who are engaging with you in some way and they can pop up when they need additional support. But a waiting room is a great idea. And you want to make sure, not for this call, but, you know, in your business in general, that you have a very inviting, comfortable, engaging waiting room for people who aren't ready to buy from you and they're still getting served, right? And you're still making offers to them when they're ready. If you've done a great job passionately packaging your work, going all in and actively selling, then you'll be able to really serve them, right? Love that analogy. I really love that, Holly. Thank you for that. So I know that last analogy. Thank you, Alicia. It was great. It's also melodramatic, but I just don't want us worrying about selling. Like I sell a lot and I know that not everything that I'm offering is a fit for everyone who's watching, right? But I let you decide. I don't decide for you, right? I'm not going to be that presumptuous. I'm not going to decide for you. I let you pick and choose what's right for you. But I don't worry about making the offer because, back to step one, I'm passionately involved in the offer. I'm excited about it. I see the potential of what the work would do. So you've got a moral obligation, right, to make these offers. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, you can type them in now, or you can type them in later on. But the three steps really are passionate packaging, and all-in commitment, and daily active selling, right? 10 active selling strategies a day. This is what will make your business soar in 2017 instead of like mope around, right? And some of us have businesses that are a little bit mopey. They're kind of like, almost like Eeyore, right? And so thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. But yeah, so it's the passionate packaging. Don't even bother selling something that you don't feel it's immoral not to offer. All in commitment. Schedule the time. Go all in. Go all in. Know what going all in looks like for you, right? What does it look like? What numbers do you need to make in order to make an all-in commitment make sense for you? And this is something that we kind of don't do enough. We kind of dance with it. We do the upfront work, and then we kind of let it do what it will. Go all in, right? And I want to ask you something. When is the last time you went all in and failed? Like, I'm talking all in, right? No balance, no fitting something in, right? When we go all in, we tend to succeed. When I was having kids, I remember, we delivered with midwives and in the water, and however you delivered, it's a beautiful story either way. But for me, I didn't want medical intervention. I didn't want the epidural. I didn't want the, any pain medicine. I didn't want doctors and hands everywhere. And whoops, I apologize. But, I just got a call. So, but I didn't want any of that. And so I had to go all in, right? I remember signing a form that said I declined. I'm so sorry. I declined pain medication, even in the event of a C-section, like an emergency C-section. And so that was I remember thinking about that, but I remember saying I'm going all in, right? When we go all in, we rarely fail. So passionate packaging, all in, and daily active targeted selling. And Alicia says that she's going to immediately implement this. And I want to challenge everyone to just test me on this, right? Maybe I'm a loon, maybe I'm crazy, but just test me on it. Do it all the way and see if you don't see not only a change in your bottom line, but an impact in how you serve the people in your community, right? An impact in how your business is going through the community, and the impact, the influence that you have. We can only truly help people when they buy what we offer. Otherwise, they're just sitting in the waiting room. Like Holly, that's a great analogy, Holly. If you don't mind, I'm going to use it, but I'll give you credit. But it's like, you can go to the hospital and need a surgeon. But if you just hang out in the waiting room, even though you're in the right place, you're not getting the benefit that you should. And that is true for all of us, regardless of what we sell. Life insurance, chiropractic care, coaching, whatever, financial coaching. If people are in our waiting room, we daggone sure better go and offer them to come back, right? All right, that's all. Appreciate you guys. And I'll talk with you soon.